From creepy clues to Vecna's origins, to terrifying horror Easter eggs, the final season of Stranger Things is loaded with awesome details you might have missed, plus a secret nod to fallen hero Eddie. Yippee-ki-yay, movie lovers, these are the biggest, best and creepiest Season 5 Easter eggs, including a ton no one spotted. Spoilers ahead. Holly's Season 4 Lite-Brite Toy that Dustin, Lucas and Erica used to receive messages from the Upside Down makes a return in Season 5, lighting up again just before the Demogorgon arrives to take her away. In fact, Holly's final scene of Season 4 included a very deliberate shot of her playing with that Lite-Brite, foreshadowing her monstrous Season 5 kidnap. The poster of classic animation and American Tail in Holly's bedroom indicates her arc this season as, like Fievel, she gets separated from her family and has to go on a long and dangerous journey to find her way back. And I love how the directors and crew framed this shot of Holly with the Fievel poster behind her, a nice nod to how she'll be taking on his role in this new story. Other pointers to Holly going missing are the Where's Waldo doll on her window seat, plus early in the first episode we see her brother and Will ride off on their bikes, almost leaving her behind. Hey, wait up! Which calls back to how Will also initially trailed behind his friends before his disappearance. The team have been laying snares for otherworldly creatures since the very first season, but this time around at the Turnbow house, they go much bigger, laying a shed load of traps for the Demogorgon in true Home Alone style. Now, Home Alone did come out after the time Stranger Things is set, but the traps could also be a homage to Nightmare on Elm Street, a movie whose villainous Freddy Krueger has had a huge influence on the show. In that film, Nancy lays traps for Freddy and sets him on fire like our gang do to the Demogorgon. Plus, Nancy Wheeler's pink sweater is a throwback to Nancy Thompson's similar one. And Dustin's repeated line, "Moving south down Arlington," is also a shout out to Elm Street, which shot in Arlington Heights, which was also incidentally where Winona Ryder filmed her very first movie, Lucas. And when the gang are selecting weapons to battle the Demogorgon, Steve dropping his axe in favour of the chainsaw feels like a hat tip to Bruce Willis doing the same in Pulp Fiction. Plus, Steve's chainsaw gives me real Evil Dead vibes. When Robin arranges a date with Vicky, who looks the spitting image of 1980s Molly Ringwald, the place she chooses is Enzo's, which is an amusing nod to the fact their date won't happen, at least not anytime soon. Why? Because Enzo's is a callback to Hopper and Joyce's various plans to dine at that particular restaurant.
Enzo's Friday, I meet you there.
Yeah, it's a date.
Plans which so far have been scuppered each time. There's a ton of Alice in Wonderland references this season, a nice nod to Henry's sister Alice. In the Creel house there's a poster of the 1951 Disney animated movie that's extremely well hidden. There's also a picture of the Wonderland characters, another of a white rabbit, and 2 White Rabbit toys, plus several pocket watches, reflecting the obsession with time shared by both the White Rabbit I'm late. And the villainous Vecna.
Seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months.
Evident in the masses of clocks in Henry's house. Holly's dress has echoes of The Sound of Music meets Alice in Wonderland, with the colours of the Disney dress inverted. Oh, and that's Alice Creel's wardrobe that Holly tries on. In fact, we saw Alice wearing that first dress in Season 4. And given that she's in Vecna's mindscape, could the type of cake Holly bakes be any more appropriate? When Holly grabs a hooded cloak and fireplace poker, she turns her outfit into the one worn by her Holly the Heroic figurine. Plus, seen as she heads off into the woods, she's also giving Mad Red Riding Hood vibes. And of course, Red meets the big bad wolf, who's disguised as someone totally benign, just like Vecna disguises himself as the friendly Mr. Whatsit, who actor Jamie Campbell Bower plays like a cross between Mr. Rogers and the Pied Piper of Hamelin. And speaking of that colourful rat catcher, if you've got eyes like a hawk, you can spot a Pied Piper figure on the fireplace at Henry's home. It's a fantastic blink and you'll miss it detail that echoes how Vecna uses his magical powers to round up the children of Hawkins, taking them away from their parents. Given that the Pied in Pied Piper means multicoloured and refers to his clothing, it's no coincidence that Holly and Derek, kids that Vecna tries to snatch away, are also wearing outfits of many colours. Max is also trapped inside Henry's memories and takes refuge in a cave he's too scared to enter, where she collects various things from his memories, including a book called Walden 2 by behavioural psychologist B.F. Skinner, which promotes the idea of creating a utopian society through radical control of the environment that humans operate in, which sounds a lot like Vecna or the Mind Flayer's ultimate plan. Max's clothes are also made up of pieces she's picked up in Henry's memories. Actress Sadie Sink has said that a patch on Max's jeans is actually a piece of fabric from a shirt you see young Henry Creel wear. She's also got a couple of brooches, a crab, which might be a reference to season 3's hospital monster, which has also been dubbed the Crab Monster as it resembles a giant crustacean. And there's what seems to be a black widow spider, a reference to both Henry's favourite creature and the Mind Flayer. In the woods, when the gang vow to kill Vecna, Will's head starts spinning and he hears the voices of the children Vecna's targeting. And it's no accident this happens in what looks like the same location where the villain's first victim in season 4, Chrissie, was cursed with a vision of a clock, and where she met Eddie to buy drugs. And in a little tribute to Eddie Munson, Lucas reports that Dustin wants to restart the Hellfire Club and adds,
he was talking about finding the lost sheep,
which is a nod to Eddie's dying words to Dustin.
You're gonna have to look after those little sheep for me, okay?
Perhaps by the end of the series, Dustin will start a new Hellfire Club in honour of his fallen friend. When the Sword in the Stone plays at the start of the 4th episode, it's a nice bit of foreshadowing for how Will finally discovers the power he's had within since his first encounter with Vecna. In the animated movie, Arthur aka Wart fulfills the prophecy of pulling an enchanted sword from a stone, revealing that he's the rightful king of England. Right from the start, Stranger Things has been tipping its hat to the horror movie Poltergeist.
I got off early and ta-da! Poltergeist!
And there's some cool new visual shout-outs in season 5. When the Demogorgon grabs Holly and tries to drag her into the Upside Down, she holds onto the bed in a scene reminiscent of Carrie Ann gripping onto her bed while the Poltergeist tries to pull her into a portal. And there's also a similar scene later with her brother Robbie. The scene of Karen Wheeler soaking in the tub just before the Demogorgon attacks harks back to the Poltergeist's Diane relaxing in a bath just before the beast strikes again. And the scene of Karen holding onto Holly in the bathtub has shades of Diane recovering with Carrie Ann in the bath. Eleven's outfit this season is a real tribute to both Superman, with her red shorts over her jogging pants, as well as Josh Brolin's character in the Goonies. And like Superman, Elle discovers her own personal kryptonite in a machine called a Hedgehog.
Get on the Hedgehog.
Which works by emitting sonic waves. I think this is a little punning joke on Sonic the Hedgehog, though the first game wasn't released until 1991. When Mr. Whatsit appears in Derek's classroom, there's definite shades of Pennywise from It by Stephen King. Given the weird way Whatsit stands lurking at the door, there couldn't be a more appropriately named toy to have in shot than these Play-Doh creepies. Just before Mr. Whatsit pops up, there's a piece on the classroom wall about Holly's favourite book, A Wrinkle in Time. Mr. Whatsit's based on its character Mrs. Whatsit, who's immortal, can travel across space-time and shapeshift, so she has similar powers to Vecna, though she uses hers for good. And there's even a quote on the collage that basically sums up the book and Stranger Things. All through the universe, a battle is being waged against evil, against the powers of darkness. Plus, this model of a tesseract in front of Derek is another nod to the book, where a tesseract or wrinkle is a phenomenon used to teleport through space-time. And the model's box inside a box look means it could also represent the way Vecna traps kids inside his mind, as he does with Max, a mind inside a mind, so to speak. When the new and improved Vecna finally emerges, his vicious takedown of an entire team of soldiers is meant to emulate Darth Vader's merciless and brutal dispatch of the rebels in Rogue One. And the way Vecna kills a surviving soldier with a gruesome spike from his new tree-like claws feels a lot like one of Terminator 2's most brutal kills. And of course, Linda Hamilton, who plays Dr. K, was Sarah Connor in the Terminator movies. As Vecna explains his grand plan to Will, saying children are weak,
some minds simply do not belong in this world. They belong in mine.
His head tap is a callback to the same gesture Henry made after the Hawkins lab massacre.
They're not gone, 11. They're still with me. In here.
What Vecna means with this creepy motion is that he stores all his victims' memories in his mind along with his own. There's another allusion to the world of Stephen King's It when Will explains how his feelings of connection to the hive mind went away when he was in California, but returned as soon as he came back to Hawkins. This parallels how the losers' memories of Pennywise fade when they leave Derry, but the horror of their experiences with the evil clown come back when they return home. Derek's sister Tina wears a necklace with a key-shaped pendant, which is a nice touch as Tina is actually the key for Joyce and Co.'s plan, because she's how Erica gets into the Turnbow home to sedate the family. And in a sly wink to Erica and Lucas comparing Tina to Cruella de Vil,
She's not mean, she's a villain. Kill the puppies for a fur coat kind of villain.
I love the fact that Erica turns up for their faux reconciliation wearing a jumper covered in black and white dogs. There's a Scooby-Doo poster in Holly's room, which is cool because Steve and those pesky, meddling kids riding around in their radio van gave me Mad Mystery Machine vibes again this season. And the radio van sets up some fantastic Back to the Future Easter eggs. As Jonathan monitors the scanner tracking Hopper, when it hits 88 decibels, he tells Steve to drive. Of course, 88 miles per hour is the speed the DeLorean needed to reach in order to time travel. Robin also tells Joyce that the flux capacitor is down, as a ruse so she can talk to Will alone. And there's also a scene of Steve driving and accelerating at top speed into the gate to the Upside Down, which is pure Back to the Future. Plus, Robin's
Great Scott!
is a homage to Christopher Lloyd's Doc.
Great Scott!
Back to the Future was also the movie playing at the theatre in season 4, and combined with Vecna's obsession with clocks and time, plus Mr. Clark's class about wormholes, it's heavily implied there'll be some sort of time travel before the series is over. In fact, I made a video all about that, and I'll add a link here and in the description if you want to check it out. While visiting Max in hospital, Mike's attention is drawn to a room of kids' toys, including an incomplete Rainbow-Brite jigsaw and also a copy of Holly's favourite book, A Wrinkle in Time. But hidden under that is the Arthur Rackham fairy book, which is full of classic fairy and folk tales significant for Stranger Things, such as Little Red Riding Hood, Jack the Giant Killer, and Jack and the Beanstalk. The song Mr. Sandman plays at the end of episode 2, just after Mr. Whatsit, aka Vecna, takes Holly to the Creel house. Despite the track's upbeat, romantic feel, the origins of the Sandman are actually terrifying. Not only is he a mythical figure from European folklore who sends kids to sleep by sprinkling sand in their eyes, but in a famous short story, the Sandman's said to be a wicked man who throws sand into their eyes so they start bleeding from their heads. He puts their eyes in a bag to feed to his own children. And bleeding eyes sounds very much like the way Vecna likes to kill his victims. The gigantic, impenetrable wall that surrounds the upside-down Hawkins has major shades of Game of Thrones, and the soldier peeing on it reminds me of Tyrion Lannister's desire to pee off the edge of the world. At the moment, we don't know what's beyond the wall, but I'd guess it's where Holly and the other kidnapped children have been taken, as the Demogorgon being tracked seemed to disappear when the Scooby Gang hit the wall with Steve's car. Look around Holly's room and you'll spot rainbows everywhere. Her Rainbow-Brite poster, her pillowcase, her hair clips, plus her outfit's a rainbow riot of colours. In many cultures, rainbows often symbolise hope, the end of trying times like the biblical flood, and the connection between human and spiritual worlds like the Bifrost in Norse myth. All of which makes them perfect for Stranger Things given Hawkins' otherworldly connections and Elle's Rainbow Room origins. The spyglass Holly picks up at Henry's house is an Easter egg to the official Stranger Things stage play The First Shadow. As a young child, Henry played with the spyglass, but after he lost it, Dr. Brenner found it and used it to locate him, after which Brenner began experimenting on the boy. On the spyglass it says Captain Midnight, which is the title of The First Shadow's Act 2. The First Shadow reveals that before his time in Hawkins, Henry Creel grew up in a small town in Nevada where he discovered some caves. Inside was some stolen equipment from Dr. Brenner, which accidentally activated and sent him to a place called Dimension X. There's a hint to this otherworldly dimension on the map Max draws for Holly, which marks the cave's location with a red X. And if you want to learn a lot more about how The First Shadow reveals some huge secrets about Henry's backstory and how he got his superpowers from his trip to Dimension X as a young boy, tap here to check out my video all about that. Thanks for enjoying Stranger Things with me, yippee-ki-yay movie lovers!